a Jesuit in Holy Cross at Tad Gormley. And right here at Metairie Park Country Day, it's a distinctive experience in itself. There are no lights here in the stadium. They normally play at 4 p.m. on Fridays, but this game was moved to 2 p.m. on Saturday to accommodate a big crowd for this district matchup with Newman. And as you can see on the visitors' side of the field, they brought in extra seating to accommodate what's turned into a very big crowd for this game. So a very distinctive atmosphere in its own right here at Country Day. And so we're looking forward to kickoff here. Back to you, Ken.
Thanks, Les. So, Wade, what they're telling us, if they go into 8 overtimes, we may be pulling up our automobiles and shining headlights onto the field, right?
Don't laugh. I've seen that before. When I was in college, 8-man football in Kansas. It was rather unique.
Country Day won the toss, and Jay, they chose the football. So Patagna on the return gets to about the 19-yard line and no more. He's hit and pushed back. And we get to see one fine quarterback getting set to come out on the football field, and that is Christian Carruth for the Country Day Cajuns. He's a senior, 6'3", 215 pounds, passed for 1,629 yards, 21 touchdowns. But, Wade, I love the fact that he's only thrown one interception.
Right. Well, I talked about him being a field general, field marshal. I used those adjectives in the pregame show. And I tell you what, two of the finer quarterbacks in the AA level as well as in all levels you're going to see right here today.
We're going to have fun, as you will, trying to recognize numbers, folks. We'll do our best. But you see great numbers on Christian Carruth. And Carruth on first down will keep it on the ground. Fumble, but I think the ground caused this fumble. Play blown dead. Play is down.
Country Day opens up right away with the zone read stuff or run pass options right there, and it's just stacked up inside real hard by number 34, Cy Winsberg.
Second down, 10 after no gain on the Patrick Kern carry. Cy Winsberg made the stop. Long count, give to Kern. Kern, a little bitty guy. 5'7", but a lot of pop in that 173 pounds. Some of the key players we'll be looking at on this Country Day team, and you'll see them pop up on your screen. Kern, who just ran the ball, but don't pass up Patagna.
Bryce Patagna, he's a two-way player, Ken, who is really dangerous when he gets his hands on the ball, especially in open field. His stats are real good this year. He's averaging 21.2 yards a catch.
Well, they'll move it outside this time. And when they needed a big play to pick it up, they get it from Caleb Jenkins, the sophomore, with the reception and the nice catch.
Tell you what, they run a little bubble screen right there. Great catch by Caleb Jenkins, catching the ball behind the line of scrimmage on the bubble, and he picks up nice yardage for that first down. Great blocking by the rest of the Cajuns out there on the perimeter.
At the 31-yard line, first down. Cajuns will keep it on the ground, and Newman counts on some key defensive players to make the stop. Kobe Porsche being one of them, but wow, Sam Moses, look at him.
Tell you what an athlete he is. He leads the Greeny defense in interceptions this year. He returns punts. He returns kickoffs. What a talent for Nelson Stewart's Newman Greenies. He's really a great athlete. There's a good look at him right there.
Opening drive of this football game being played here at Wenzel Field. No hurry by Christian Carruth. Takes a good look at this Newman defense. Good inside slant pass, and that one caught by Chandler Wynn, the senior. By the way, Christian Carruth loves that inside slant to Wynn or Patagna.
Good look at it right here. Three-step drop. He hits the slant right there. They get right into the soft spot in between the safety and the corner and pick up a nice first down.
Good numbers on Wynn this season. 33 catches, 408 yards. But how's that 10 touchdown mark look to you?
Well, it's they're going to get the ball to the right people in the right situations and create good schemes for them, and that's good coaching. Tell you what, the Country Day staff does a great job making those sort of things happen with their players.
Give to Kern. Look at the hole for Kern as he slants off the right side. Gets up to the 45-yard line. A nice gain of 4.
Tell you what, I like the nice little mix and matching right now by Joe Chango and his staff, mixing in the inside zone, which you're going to see right here from Kern. Nice job, nice cut right there. And then also mixing in the 3-step drop, quick slant routes, and bubble screens out to their wide receivers.
2nd down, 6. Country Day team undefeated, 7-0, 2-0 in the district. They'll just screen the pass out to the right side. Some room and to midfield, and right across midfield goes Patrick Kern.
Well, that was his 3rd check down right there. Christian Caroot, let's get a good look of our official of today. He's got a call.
Holding, 76, off. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Our referee is Scott Baudet.
They got Thomas Pollen on a holding, so they'll back it up 10 yards from the spot of the holding foul. But let's take a look at the play right here. He's looking at his first read. He's looking at his second read. It's all covered by the greenies right there. And what does he do? He comes out here to the flat to his check down to Patrick Kern. Picks up nice yardage. It's just all for naught with the holding penalty.
Injured player is Isaac Andre. So with that, we'll take a break and come back in just a moment. No score, opening drive for the Country Day Cajuns. Beautiful day for football here at Country Day. Seventh play coming up of a long opening game drive by the Country Day Cajuns. Dressed up in their grays today, moving to our left. Newman in the whites. They give to Patrick Kern again, and if the name Kern is familiar to you, that is the son of Blaine Kern, or Barry Kern rather, Mardi Gras World.
Get a good look at right here, the zone read. It's a give read right there. I'll tell you what, Brandon Williams, number 56 for the Newman Greenies, does a great job. Only a freshman, taking on the block, defeating the block, and tackling Patrick Kern for no gain. Brings up 3rd and long. Obvious passing situation for the Cajuns here.
Yeah, they're playing behind the chains again because of the penalty. 3rd and 14. Caroot's going to uncork one long for the first time. Has a man, and it's caught inside the 20-yard line by Price Patagna.
Tell you what a great pass on the wheel route right there. Patagna runs the wheel route off the post route of the number 1 receiver and just steps on top of the corner. Gets on top. You can see how Caroot right there extends the play, sprints out to his right, and puts it right out on the money. Great hands, great pickup, huge first down. Brings it down inside the red zone for the Cajuns.
43-yard pickup for Patagna, who does it all. He's a defensive back. He's a wide receiver. He's also their kicker. And look at the numbers. He excels in all 3 areas of the game. Caroot with the fake pump starts to run. Here's the toss. And that's caught by Patagna again to move forward with a few extra yards.
Here's a good look right here. He extends the play, gets out of the pocket, looks downfield, nothing there, comes to his, what some people call a safety valve or an outside delay route right there. Patagna right there and has a nice little pickup, brings up 2nd and medium. This is where the Cajuns want to be. They want to be in these 2nd and mediums. Obviously, every offense wants to be in 2nd and short, but these are manageable downs that allows your offense to keep moving the chains.
And the red zone with Patrick Kern behind him as the running back. High pass tipped, and it was up for grabs, but no one could get to it.
Sitting right there on that was number 23, Eli Abramson, a sophomore defensive back, was sitting on what we call wide pop off the zone read right there. They fake Kern, he pulls the ball, you've got the wide receiver or the tight end, in this case it was the slot back, works right into the seam, and a little overthrown, but I tell you what, Abramson was sitting right there for the stick on the wide pop.
It was the defensive back Will Brines for the taking, but he couldn't catch up to the football. By the way, Carute is 4 of 5 for 61 yards on this drive, including the big 42-yarder. He'll just swing it right out of the backfield. That is Kern, and he gets to the 15-yard line where he's tackled short of the first down. Needs about 2 to move the chains.
Again, going to Kern, coming out of the backfield. Carute looks down the field. 1's not there, 2's not there, comes to his third progression, which is the swing route by Kern. Carute takes what he gets, dumps it off, and it's going to bring it up to a 4th and about 3, and on comes the Cajun field goal team.
Now that's Bryce Patagna. He's a junior. Patagna's kick is up. No good. He hooked it and missed it, upset with himself. So we'll take a break. When we come back, Newman has the ball for the first time this afternoon. No score at Country Day. Back at Country Day, Newman finally gets an opportunity with the football. No score after the missed 32-yard field goal. They'll run it on first down and not get much. Quarterback is Miles LePere, 6 foot, 175-pound senior. Excellent numbers. As we said, we've got 2 prolific passers going up against each other in this game, but 18 touchdowns, again, very impressively.
Right, he's the number 18 leading passer in the state, as we talked about in our pregame show. I call him a field general because he does so much for this Greeny offense, puts them in great situations to be successful. That's what a general does.
Charbonnet is in motion. The toss out to him, as Charbonnet is one of our offensive players to watch as he makes that catch and gives Newman a little success on their first big pass play of the game. There you see the other players we'll keep an eye on.
There you go. Story Charbonnet. He's one of the favorite receivers of Miles LePere, as we just saw. He runs great route. He has great hands. He's an outstanding athlete. And then a couple of guys to go with him. Poche, as well as doing a great job up front, Ryan White, number 52.
Third down to move the chains, about 4. LePere on the keeper, breaks 1 tackle, making a dive at the chains. He's got to get to the 30-yard line. It's going to be about a yard short, yard and a half short maybe.
Well, you see, that's what LePere does. Everything's closed, nothing open. He's going to make something happen with his feet. It's just right there. He comes up about a yard and a half short, and it's a big decision right here for the Greenies.
Deep in their own territory here. They're 4th down. We thought for a moment they were going to go for it. Now the punt team's going to trot out onto the field.
Huge statement right there for the Country Day Cajuns, getting a 3-and-out. Good look at Nelson Stewart, the outstanding coach right there of the Newman Greenies. Boy, has he done a great job. He's one of the great coaches that has had a chance to coach at Newman. Later we'll be talking about another one, a guy named Tony Reginelli. Nelson Stewart does an excellent job.
18th year, 12th as the head coach here at Newman. But they do punt the football away. Fair catch called for and made after a 37-yard punt. Let's take a look at our keys to victory, presented all season by Tachi Insurance in LaPlace. Insurance is not for what will happen, but for what could happen.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Newman's got to start fast, and they didn't right there. They just did their first 3-and-out. They're 3-3 on the season right now. They're always playing better when they get a fast offensive start, and then Country Day's got to pick up the pressures on offense. Newman defensively has got to contain Carute. They got to make sure that they can keep him in the pocket. And I tell you what, Country Day has got to lasso LePere, which they did right there on that first series.
Well, Country Day had a nice drive, got inside the red zone, missed on a 32-yard field goal. That first drive was highlighted by a 42-yard pass reception to Price Patagna, but it all went for naught. However, they force a 1-2-3 punt, and now on first down, almost lost that football as Kern spun into the line. Tell you what, for a little bitty guy at 5'7", 173, the senior Patrick Kern runs with authority, doesn't he?
Right, he runs real hard right here, but he gets stood up. And you kind of see the ball's going to get popped out right there by, I think that's Hackett Cummins right there, comes up and sticks him as he gets spun around. And luckily he falls right onto the ball. But yes, he runs hard. He's 113 attempts this year, 529 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season.
That was actually Jake Gitter, too, the middle linebacker, who plays both ways as a running back and linebacker. So this leads to Carruth being chased and caught from behind and spilled.
Nowhere to go with the ball right there. You can see Joe Chango kind of getting on Christian Carruth right there saying, hey, you got to go ahead and get rid of the ball faster. You need to stand in there and make sure you go to that first read first, which was open, by the way. He just held onto the ball a little too long. Good look at Liam Rowan
made the play, and you'll see him all over the field. He's one of the linebackers we're keeping a real close eye on in this football game today because he makes his presence known, has a quick first step. And that allows him to get to you, chase you down when you're not expecting him, because he's usually a lot further in the backfield, especially on pass plays, than you would expect him to be. Carruth on third down and long, playing behind the chains, 3rd and 13. Flag.
I think we got a delay a game penalty right there. A little too long getting the play in. There are no huddle offense, but they're looking over to get the signal, so the signal's got to come in timely. You can control the flow of the game by calling it from the boundary. Right there, they just ran out of the 25-second clock. Good look at Joe Chango, the head coach, second-year head coach of Country Day.
That second penalty for 15 yards total, and penalties for Country Day. Overthrows a receiver on the long one. That was Charles Redfern attempting his first reception of the ball game, and that's going to force a 4th down and punting situation, and that once again is Price. I'm sorry, that's Carruth. Carruth is the punter, Christian Carruth, which always brings up interesting situations when your quarterback is a punter.
Well, it
allows you for the quick kick,
fakes
off the punt. Won't be a fake this time. They are punting. Be a short punt, get a little bit of a Country Day roll before it makes a right-hand turn and is touched dead. Only a 20-yard punt. And Newman has the ball. When we come back, still no score. Newman and Country Day. Greenies ready to go, and they want to move that ball quickly and get stuffed on the first, or not first pass reception, but the first pass reception for Dylan Hill. Brought down by Caleb Jenkins on a big hit.
Caleb Jenkins comes up, fights through the block of the wide receiver on the wide receiver screen right here. Hello, right there. Great play. Tell you what, if you
get the number of that truck.
Yeah, well, if you can't block out on the edge of wide receiver screens, you're going to get tackled like that. It's that simple.
Greeny's keeping on the ground with the jet sweep around the right side. And that is Murray Calhoun on the carry, not liking a little bit at the end of the play.
Murray Calhoun comes across in the fast motion. They call it the jet sweep or fly sweep right there. It's a toss right there. If that would happen to gone down on the ground, that would have been a forward pass. So it's a real safe play from a handoff. It's a little toss, and that would, be considered a pass right there, even if it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Third down, however, for the Greenies. They've got to move it. They need about 4. Good field position at the 45 of Country Day. Pass a little too high, and that one was just off the fingertips and was up for grabs, but no one could get to it. Incomplete, intended for Story Charbonnet.
Charbonnet was wide open for the second, but the ball floated just a little bit out of LePaire's hands right there. Good look at LePaire right there. You know, I tell you what, he's thrown for 18 TDs this year, and he's facing a gauntlet in this 9-2A already with having gone up against Riverside and St. Charles Catholic.
They're going for it on 4th down. They're not going to punt this ball away on the Country Day side of the 50. They need 4. They've got to get to the 41-yard line. LePaire from the gun. Not much of a rush. He's going to uncork a bomb. Has a man down there, and it's batted down. Played well. Covered well. Intended for Brian McGowan. Nicky Carciani covering, I believe.
Tell you what, they take a huge challenge right there, throwing it down the field. Could have ended up, you know, if it's intercepted, it's no better than a punt, but the Country Day offense is going to take over right there around midfield. I'll tell you what, Corciani does a nice job covering the post route by the Newman receiver. If the ball had a little more on it, it could have possibly been a big play for Newman.
Yeah, Bryce Patagna with a fine defensive play. You can't ask this young man to do any more than you. That 5 and a 6 look the same.
Well, I'll tell you, all right, well, there you go. It was Patagna. There you go. It's just hard to see on those blue jerseys. I need to talk to Coach Chango about his wardrobe.
If you're injured on Friday, the Oshner Sports Medicine Institute is open on both North and South Shores for Saturday morning clinic. Oshner Sports Medicine, the region's most comprehensive sports medicine services. A run on 1st down for Country Day by Jake Gitter gets 2. 2nd down, 8 for the Cajuns. They'll keep it on the ground. Straight ahead across the 50. And that's Patrick Kern with the carry.
You know, one of the great things about seeing these two teams play, you're going to see a lot of kids play both ways today, Ken. They're going to play offense. They're going to play defense. They're going to punt the ball. They're going to kick the ball. They're going to catch punts, catch kickoffs. You know, like Patagna. I mean, he doesn't come off the field. That's the way the game was meant to be played.
That's the way it was played for a long time, back in the leather helmet days.
Your days.
You
Not
said
mine.
that before I could say your days.
Exactly. I was quick.
Well, the first quarter has come to an end. It's been a quick one. No score. Country Days moved it very, very well, including this pass play.
Great look right there on a wheel route. What a catch by Patagna, coming down with the ball, setting up a huge 1st down inside the red zone.
WHNO thanks The Rent Zone for their support of today's telecast for everything from small tools to large earth movers. Let The Rent Zone provide what your project needs. Call the Boutique office or visit therentzone.net. Thank you, Rent Zone. We appreciate your support. Good shot of Nelson Stewart.
Two fine staffs here today in this AA matchup. Nelson Stewart, Joe Chango. These guys do a great job teaching kids the game of football.
You know, he's got Newman Greeny blood in him. Played at Newman, played with Peyton. Played then furthered his career at Tulane. Talk a little bit more about that later. And Kobe Porsche makes the stop.
Kobe Porsche comes from his linebacker position, and Patrick Kern had nowhere to go on that toss sweep right there. Nice tackle, nice scrape from his linebacker position. That would be Kobe Porsche, the leading tackler for the Newman Greenies.
Lost 2. So now it's 2nd down, 12. Christian Carute We've been anticipating watching both of these quarterbacks battle in this game this afternoon here at Windsor Field.
Inside zone right there with the give. And I believe that was a Patrick Kern again. Yes, it was. Good look at Patrick Kern right there. No place to go. Huge mismatch right there on that play between the offensive line of Country Day and the defensive line of the Newman Greenies.
That brings up 3rd down 12. No gain on that play. So to move the chains, Country Day needs a bunch. They've got good field position, and Carruth's got a strong arm. 2 of 4 on 3rd downs in the first quarter. He'll use the screen and a completion inside the 40 down near the 35-yard line. Scramble for it. Was it a fumble? If it is, Country Day came up with the ball. Kobe Porche, and a flag at the end of the play, which might be on Kobe Porche for the celebration. Not sure. Let's see.
You're absolutely right. I think that's what it is. They'll tack on unsportsmanlike conduct. There's the ball. All right, they run the quick screen out here. Great blocking. Splits it. Ball's going to pop out right there. He falls on, and I think he recovers his own fumble. But here's the problem after the game. Number 8 with a little bit too rough activity. And then
the taunting in front of the Country Day side.
Here it is right here.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that. There's no place in football for that.
Flag comes out there. And that's a big penalty because look at the field position it gives Country Day. And it'll be a little coaching opportunity for Kobe Porche when he gets back to the sideline. I can assure you, putting the ball right at the edge of the red zone for the Cajuns. Lots of time. Good strike. Right at the 10-yard line. And a fine catch by Price Patagna.
I'll tell you what, great route right there. He runs a little curl and go. There's the curl. There's the go right there. Wide open, but I tell you what, it started with protection up front. Great job by that offensive line of the Cajuns, giving Carruth the time he needed to stand in there and let the route develop. The route develops, he puts it on the money.
Isaac Andre with the stop. They can make a first down now without scoring a touchdown. It's officially at the 11-yard line. Look at this, right up the middle. They get the first down and the touchdown to boot. How about that?
I tell you what, right there, great job by the running back and the offensive call.
Patrick Kern.
I think that was Patrick Kern right there. It was. He runs the inside zone and he bends it back to the play side. Huge hole opens up, and it's just there's a horse race for the last 5 yards into the end zone for the touchdown.
11-yard TD by Patrick Kern. First points on the board today. Price Patagna for the point after. He hooks this one again, and it is good. He just hooked it in. He missed the field goal earlier, hooking it to the left. But he does give Country Day the lead on this 11-yard run up the middle. 7-0 Country Day over Newman. Time now for Traditions, presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905 with locations downtown in Metairie and in Mandeville. Before the Manning name became synonymous with Newman football, there was the Reginelli name. Tony Reginelli coached and taught at Newman for 37 years and was head coach of the Greenies when Cooper, Peyton, and Eli Manning played. In August, Reginelli Way, the new grand entrance plaza to Newman's Michael Lupin Field, was unveiled.
Tell you what an outstanding coach that gentleman was. I had a chance to know him, and I still get a chance to see him every now and then. He is such a fine gentleman.
It's one of those guys you like to trace the coaching tree, and it's a tree with a lot of branches and a lot of leaves. Onside kick by the Cajuns, and they might have it. This is a team full of chicanery, and Patagna gets the kick. The onside kick belongs to the Cajuns, who just completed a 7-play, 55-yard drive with 3:31. How about that?
Patagna chips it right there and catches it himself. Ball's got to go 10 yards. What does he do? He kicks it right to himself. He chases it down. This guy does everything, Ken. He's something.
I'll tell you what.
Great call by that Country Day coaching staff, and that guy right there, Joe Chango, who, by the way, is not from down here. If you were to talk to him, he sounds like he's right outside of New York, but actually he's from New Jersey.
Wow. So Country Day recovering their own onside kick. Wants to go long. They're going for it all. There's a completion inside the 20, inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line.
Tell you what, there's no better way to go get it. Number 11. Chandler Wynn runs a post route. They throw it vertically down the field. He gets on top of the safety. Pump and go. He stands in there, takes the hit, delivers it right on the money. What a huge strike right there for the Cajuns.
A 40-yard strike following the touchdown onside kick. That's 3 big plays in a row almost. So after that 40-yard reception, excellent field position for the Cajuns. They're knocking on the door again. Right side run to the 5-yard line. That's Patrick Kern on the carry.
Patrick Kern runs the sweep right there. If he sticks his foot in the ground, good, misses the big hole right there. See it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, if he would have put that foot in the ground and dug inside, he'd have probably standing in the end zone having a glass of Gatorade.
Instead, he has to settle for a 3-yard gain from inside the 10. Fake to Kern, give the other way. Here we go. Touchdown! Touchdown, Jake Gitter. After the fake to Patrick Kern, Jake Gitter gets the handoff, and he takes it in for the score.
Tell you what, Jake Gitter can play linebacker. He can also run with the football. They have him inserted right there at the wide back or the slot, tight slot. They run the inside zone one way, give it to the running back Gitter on the counter, coming back the other way, walks into the end zone. And then he lines up for the PAT and blocks on the PAT. They got to do it all.
Love 1A, 2A, and 3A football where you see more of this than anywhere else. This one drilled right through. Still had a little hook. It's 14-0 very quickly here at Windsor Field at Country Day. The Cajuns by 2 touchdowns over Newman. (14-0) so quickly. A 3-play, 48-yard drive following the successful recovery of the onside kick. Took them only 55 seconds to score their second touchdown. Another onside kick. The scramble for it. Country Day may have it again. This is 2 consecutive onside kicks, and the Cajuns get it again.
Works once. Let's do it again. Tell you what.
Look at Patagna all excited. He got it again.
Got it again. It traveled 10 yards before he touched it. And, right.
The kicker kicks the onside kick and back-to-back times recovers the onside kick.
Well, when you got momentum, it continues to swing your way sometimes until you do something specifically to stop it, and that's what Newman has not done. They've done nothing to specifically stop it. They haven't gotten a stop on defense. They haven't stopped the special team tricks.
Well, let's go downstairs to Les East, because just a moment ago we were talking about Tony Reginelli. Les, what you got for us?
Yeah, guys, before that first onside kick, y'all were talking about, of course, Tony Reginelli. And there's another Reginelli who is well known to a couple of groups of greenies. Tony's son, Reggie Reginelli, was an outstanding football player at Newman. And then he went on to play with the Tulane Green Wave, and as you see, he had one of the more memorable plays in recent Tulane history, a fourth down pass reception for a touchdown in 1982 when Tulane upset an Orange Bowl-bound LSU team in Tiger Stadium. So the name Reginelli is synonymous with not only the Newman Greenies, but also the Tulane Greenies. Back to you, Ken.
Thank you, Les. He's one of the greatest wins. Vince Gibson's last game in Tulane history.
I was there that night. I watched that take place. What a great night it was. Do you know first downs right now? Country Day has 8 of them, and Newman has not gotten a first down yet. Newman has done nothing to stop this momentum. They've got to do something to stop the momentum.
Country Day took a timeout just a moment ago, so they have 2 remaining in the half. And there's a throw to the left side, complete. As the Cajuns continue to do everything right, Chandler Wynn on the catch, the big senior at 6'1", 200.
Carruth sprints to his right. They move the pocket, sit right there on the boundary for the curl stop route is Chandler Wynn. I like what they're doing right now with their protections to pick up the pressures of Newman. They're doing a great job.
Look at the yardage domination.
Right, you can see the total yards and the domination right there by Country Day so far.
And the Cajuns can afford to keep it on the ground and eat just a little clock, enjoying this 14-0 lead. When you look at this Country Day team, Wade, it's easy to see how they have jaunted out to a 7-0 record, because they are just full of not only players who can make big plays, but they've got the chicanery, they've got the trick plays, and they execute.
Well, the thing is, they've done a nice job with their schedule. They've put a nice, Joe Chango and his staff have done a nice job building some momentum with the wins up to this point as they're fixing to go into the meat of the 9-2A district. Seeing Newman today. Next week, I believe it will be St. Charles or Riverside, and then St. Charles at the end of the season.
Yeah, you can always circle those games when Riverside and St. Charles are there. Circle those games on the calendar. Nice run inside the 30-yard line. And again, Patrick Kern making it happen.
Patrick Kern runs the counter right here. You can see the backside tackle pulling, leading up in a hole. And I tell you right now, Country Day, a little bit smaller on the offensive line, but they are controlling that Newman defensive line up front.
Jack Reynolds on that last stop. Patrick Kern unstoppable. As we talked about him earlier, never let your size stop you from doing what you have to do. At 5'7", he can put up numbers like you just saw on the screen, and he'll get it one more time. And he is across the 25. All he was trying to do was pick up the first down, and he got it.
Well, he picks up the first down right there with the inside zone. But getting back to what's going on up front, I've got to credit Country Day's offensive line here for really doing a great job getting some nice movement against that larger Newman defensive front.
Big Colton Davis on the stop.
You know, they're both similar types of teams offensively. They're similar types of team defensively. They line up in some of the same formations, run a lot of the same plays. So without the uniforms being on, they kind of look the same on both sides of the field.
Colton Davis, as big as he is, was shaken up a little, running in and stopping Patrick Kern, who's smaller than everybody on the field. But they get it down to the 25-yard line on that Kern run.
Right, that's Kern again, running the inside zone, bending it back. What he's reading right there, and if you don't see him cutting back against the grain, is he's reading the play side A gap. That's the gap between the guard and the center. If it's cloudy, he's going to wind it back against the grain. Let's take a good look at it right there. It's cloudy, so I'm going to wind it back against the grain. That's what you see on Saturdays and Sundays when you see some of these running backs at those levels making those huge cutbacks and bend backs with huge holes, because defensive teams do not do a good job protecting the wind back or the bend back.
Find daylight, run to it. Not much here. No gain on this play as the Greenies stop up the hole, led by none other than Eli Abramson right there, big number 23. Abramson, a sophomore. Third down now for Country Day. Protecting and enjoying a 2-touchdown, 14-point lead. We go under the 5-minute mark in the half. Around the right side, breaking a 1 tackle, but not the second. Jake Gitter on the carry.
Jake Gitter runs the counterplay with a really nice kick out by the left offensive guard from Country Day, Avery Jenkins. There's the kick out, there's the cut. Gives a nice set of chance to get some running room right there by Gitter.
Gitter and Kern, both seniors, to keep fresh legs in there. Joe Chango alternates them. Newman showing the blitz and jumping just a little too early. Contact made.
Dead ball is close on the defense. A 5-yard penalty.
One of the ways to slow down the blitz, all right, is to change your snap counts. Let them show that the blitz coming. Let your offensive linemen and backs see the blitz coming. That's what they do right there. They change the count. They change the way it's being presented, and it pulls off that Newman pressure.
Kobe Porcher was a little anxious. The fake to Gitter. Pass inside the 5. Look at the fight for the end zone. Won't get there. Denied down to the 2-yard line.
Wide receiver screen out there.
Chandler Wynn.
Number 11, Chandler Wynn. You can see him split the blockers right here. Right inside. A great block right there. Gets down inside.
He's 6'1".
The 5.
He's using that frame. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's using that frame to get forward. Move forward.
Got a Country Day Cajun down right there. Can't tell who he is. You know, there you go. So it's always costly when one of your guys go down. Hopefully he'll make it back.
Now they were trying to. Gitter's in there. I think they were trying to rush the tight end.
When you don't have many players on your sidelines and one of your guys go down, you might, if he's a two-way player, you might not just lose him on one side of the ball. You lose him on the other side of the ball, so you actually end up losing 2 people. That was Briggs' hands, offensive lineman, I think, for the Cajuns. You know, that's the deal. You lose one guy, you're actually losing 2. And then if he plays on your special teams, it could be 3 or 4.
And Briggs is one of those guys who plays both ways. He's a defensive lineman. Cody Campbell onto the field. 2nd and goal. Power backfield. There's the push in and touchdown. Jake Gitter. Touchdown by Jake Gitter. And he had a lot of help. He had not only his offensive line, but that power backfield to help him open the hole.
Jake Gitter from his up back position in the power I gets the quick handoff, buries himself in behind the left side of that Cajun offensive line. They get great movement, and he gets into that end zone to get the 3rd score of the day for the Cajuns.
And the last 2 scores, this one and the one before, as Patagna gets set to kick the extra point, came after onside kick recoveries. This one's good. 21-0. 2 of those touchdowns coming after onside kicks. This was the number 2, recovered by the same guy who recovered the first one, Price Patagna. $21-0 lead for Country Day as they score on a 9-play, 48-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 57 seconds. They have onside kicked twice in a row Fans are loving it here at Country Day. Will they do it a third time, Wade Kaiser? Would they go 3 in a row or go deep with a 21-0 lead?
I'd hate to say he's going to go deep and he's going to fool me.
He is going deep on this one after 2 in a row. Picked up at the 11-yard line and a little reverse. Razzle-dazzle may work for the Greenies. Look at this. The Greenies going all the way. The Newman Greenies. Murray Calhoun, 89 yards. Flag on the play. Hold everything.
Hold everything.
Flag at about the 23-yard line. And that's got the Greenie fans wondering, is it against us?
Tell you what, he looked like he was shot out of a gun after he got that handoff on that reverse. He was, boom. Here's our call.
Scott Baudet is our referee. This call will be very unpopular for one of the sidelines.
Touchdown is good. We got a sideline warning. Newman.
Murray Calhoun. Wow.
Sideline warning probably got in the way of the officials as they were running down the sideline. You get excited as coaches and players. You get in the way. You got to stay 2 yards back. That's the rule in high school off of the boundary. The coach's box is in front of that 2-yard line. And if you get in the way and that official runs or hits you or bumps you, you're going to get a flag. And probably there was no bump. They just got in the way a little bit. Thus, you get the warning.
How about the reverse? An 89-yard return by Murray Calhoun that breathes new life into this Newman Greenie team.
As I said, he looked like he was shot out of a cannon after he got that handoff. There was nobody there. Great execution by the kickoff return team. Great special teams so far this afternoon.
Kirk Groom to attempt the point after. He's been the kicker for the last 3 years. Another look at this return.
Tell you what, here comes the handoff.
Charbonnet with it.
Here comes the gunpowder.
And
Bang!
here goes Calhoun.
Do you see anybody in the picture? There's one. Nobody for Country Day in the picture. Nobody there. Great execution right there. Great job, great blocking, great way to set up and answer some of the momentum by your opponent. No better way to do it than on a special team play as we've seen so far today.
Now that makes it 21-7. Nelson Stewart chatting with one of the officials.
Burger after the game? I mean, you got me. That's Chris Ufnack, the fine official over there, is the line judge in this afternoon's game, and I think they're talking about going down the road right here to Oscars and having a burger.
What did you talk about when some of the conversations that you'd have with officials?
How's
See
the family, how the
like?
kids, how's the wife?
In other words, you're telling me it was top secret.
Exactly.
Or language you can't use on this broadcast.
Language I cannot use on the broadcast. There you go. But, yeah, they were pretty, these officials do a great job again.
Absolutely.
And the thing about these guys is they're going to come over there, they're going to talk to you and tell you exactly what happened, whether they're right, whether they're wrong, whether they disagree with you. And that's one of the things I always respected about not only the New Orleans Officials Association, but all the officials associations all over the state of Louisiana that I had a great chance to meet with many of them in the playoffs. What a great group of guys that work real hard, and they're not just doing it for themselves. They're doing this for kids and the love of the game.
Tyler Williams was number one. You saw him deep. Grooms has a very strong leg. Patagna and Williams are deep, and Grooms just booms this one into the end zone. So it's coming out to the 20.
Well, I'll tell you what, so far, what an afternoon of special teams that we have seen. It's awesome. I'd love to see the third, one of the probably most important and overlooked emphasis parts of the game being exploited here today.
2 onside kick recoveries by Country Day, which both led to touchdowns. Then they kick off deep, and Newman returns it 89 yards The funny part about it is they lead 7-0, and they have not run an offensive play in the second quarter. Look at this.
Yeah, you're right. And they got
Newman has not
7
run a play.
points on special teams.
Yeah, Newman hadn't run a play on offense since the 1:05 mark of the first quarter. Incomplete pass.
Off the bootleg action. It looks like they're calling it as an incomplete pass. They hit the receiver wide open right here.
That's
Play
Cody
action.
Campbell.
They hit Campbell right here in the hands. No better place to catch it. Oh, boy, I tell you what. Looked like he was ready to pull that into his body. I'm wondering if that was an incomplete pass.
Now, Cody's dad, Dan Campbell, is the tight ends coach and the assistant head coach of the New Orleans Saints, so he's got good football DNA inside of him. Yeah, they like that play. Missed it last time. They go for it and get it this time. So that was Jake Gitter on that last play. And that's Chandler Wynn on the catch.
Chandler Wynn on the really three-step hitch route. Quick passing game by the Cajuns. Getting the ball. They're trying to speed up the offense a little bit right now at 2:55. Here's the catch right here by Wynn. Trying to get out of bounds, just can't get there. Cajuns still have 2 timeouts left in this half.
3rd down 5 to move the chains. They'll keep it on the ground. And caught up behind his own man, breaks through, and it's going to be close, but he's short of the first down by 2 yards.
I'll tell you what, brings up 4th and short.
Patrick Kern on the carry.
With 2:29, 2:27, 2:26. I wonder why Newman doesn't call one of their 3 timeouts right here to save a little time on the clock.
Country Day has 2 remaining should they choose to use them.
Newman's got all 3. I would have taken a timeout right there, Ken, if I were Newman.
Clock ticking, nearing the 2-minute mark. Country Day in no hurry. Remember, your punter is Christian Carute, the quarterback. Low snap. Wasn't a big rush. Gets a beauty. Gets off a beauty. And returned for a few.
Tell you what, a lot of time clicked off that clock before the punt even took place. Hence
a 32-yard punt. Our football schedule for the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase wraps up in 2 weeks with a Catholic League matchup between Jesuit and Brother Martin from Zephyr Field. Catch it live November the 4th at 7 p.m. on Sports NOLA, or watch the rebroadcast Saturday, November the 5th at noon on WHNO. That's Jesuit and Brother Martin in 2 weeks on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Greenies on first down. In trouble. And they finally run an offensive play in this quarter. Unfortunately, it goes nowhere for the Greenies. And the carry is by James Poche.
Poche bounces it outside. Nothing to run inside on the inside zone, and runs into a ton of gray jerseys with blue numbers that are hard to read of the Cajuns.
Clock running. Newman not rushing it here. They thought they might have used one of their timeouts there. LePere scrambling. Throws on the run. Overthrows everybody and just dumps it away.
Well, he extends the play right there. No place to go. I can see Nelson Stewart extremely upset right there with the officials on some sort of what they thought possibly was a missed call. But what was nice to see right there was Miles LePere making something happen when everything shut down inside. He was extending the play, keeping his eyes down the field. They've kept him in check so far today, 3 of 5, only 12 yards passing. He's saying right there, whatever happened, it was my fault. And so that's what a field general does. He also steps up when he does something wrong.
The other thing you ought to be saying is, hey, let our offense play. They haven't run any plays.
Got a timeout Country Day right there. That's their second of this half.
Next Saturday night on WHNO, we'll have live Southland Conference football as the Nichols Colonels travel to Natchitoches to take on the Northwestern State Demons. Wade and I will have the call next Saturday at 6 right here on WHNO TV 20. Looking forward to seeing these Nichols Colonels, who have been so exciting this season, play up at Northwestern. We did a game earlier with them against Incarnate Word. They've had 3 overtime games. That game might not end until midnight.
Well, you know, Nicholls State, I'll tell you what, Tim Rebo's got those guys working hard down there, and they're playing extremely great football. Today they have a big test, though, with that Sam Houston team, I believe, that is undefeated in the Southern Conference.
Nelson Stewart not happy with the way this last 2.5 minutes is going for his Greenies. At the 35-yard line. It's 3rd down and long, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Dylan Hill.
Fade route right there, trying to hit him on the quick fade, just overthrown. Not a very well thrown ball right there by Miles LePere. And
that brings up 4th down.
Right, and not a very good use of their timeouts, clock management right here. And Country Day, by calling that timeout, stopped the clock and allowed them to get the ball back here with this punt. And they're going to have one timeout and minute 5.
Minute 6.
Yeah, it's hard to read the clock with the sun on it. Minute 5, minute 6. Once again, it's always about clock management. How you're going to work that clock and use your timeouts.
That's a guy right there that can flip the field for you. He's the place kicker and the punter. Averages 36 and can get some leg into it. No rush here at all. And he booms one. Patagna is back to receive. Punt won't reach him, however. And the Greenies, Murray Calhoun downs it on the far side. A 30-yard punt.
Great punt right there. It does flip the field a little bit. Country Day starts off from their own 35, 36-yard line with one timeout left in the half. And we have seen that they can strike big. Let's see what they have to do or can do in a minute or 57 seconds.
Or do you just want to take a 21-7 lead into the locker room?
Press it. You have two touchdown leads. You got pretty good field position. You got a great field marshal at quarterback. Let's see what you can press right here.
It's called press and collect. Press forward, collect points.
Now you got to be smart about it. I mean, let's don't do something silly, but let's press a little bit.
On the 35, pressure. He gets by it. He's going to uncork the long. They're pressing right off the fingertips of the intended receiver. My goodness, Chandler Wynn almost got his hands on it.
Chandler Wynn on the post route had about 2 steps on the defender. Ball just a tad bit overthrown. It might have tipped him right in his fingertips. Let's see. Oh,
so
just
close.
Off the edge. Just off the edge. Missed a face mask right there by the Newman defender. I like the idea. I like pressing it a little bit right there.
Sam Moses with good coverage, but Wynn had to step. 2nd down, 10, 50 seconds to play. Keep it on the ground. Let's see if he's choosing now, Joe Chango, just to run the clock out, take it to the locker room after trying for the explosive play on the long bomb. Stops the clock, 34 seconds. So Country Day will use their last timeout. Oh, that's a Newman timeout. Take that back. Wow. If you're interested in purchasing a DVD copy of today's game, send an email to prep@sportsnola.com or call our offices at 504-681-0120 during normal business hours. You will receive a reply with more information on purchasing the DVDs. That's a Newman timeout.
It's a Newman timeout with 34 seconds left on the clock.
Having Country Day backed up at their own 41-yard line?
I think that timeout should have been used a lot earlier.
That's what I was thinking.
So, it doesn't really hurt Country Day from that standpoint. I think Newman, not really wise with where they call the timeout right then and there. You're going to want that clock if you're Newman just to run out so you can get out of here. So what that allows Country Day to do is come to the sideline, actually put together a plan for the last few snaps with a timeout.
Patrick Kern, the running back, will he just be protecting on maybe a 3rd down bomb? Let's see. Carruth to the sideline. The diving catch made by, is it Chandler Wynn? That is Becknell.
Becknell catches the ball, gets the 1st down. They stop the clock. Sprints out to his right. They run the out route. He's trying to get out of bounds. Ball's thrown low. picks up the first down. That's why the clock stops. They move the chains, and they will wind the clock, and it is winding now.
Christian Becknell, a sophomore, fine receiver, also the backup quarterback, and the quarterback next year when Carruth graduates. Carruth wants to go long. They're pressing and continuing to do so, and way overshoots the intended receiver. Incomplete. We have 10 seconds left in the half.
There's a double move right there. He pumps on the hitch. It's a hitch and go, but the Newman Greeners are playing way off. On the coverage right there was number 22, Calder Schmidt, was not going to allow the receiver to get on top of him. He would let him catch the ball underneath, but not on top. They throw it as a home run ball off the double move, way overthrown.
And you've got a guy who's thrown for 21 touchdowns, and now for over 1,700 yards when we add up his successful first half here. And you've got 10 seconds to play in a half, and you're right at midfield. You're going for it. Flag down, far side, up at the top of your screen.
It's on the sidelines of Newman again. I could see Nelson Stewart having a conniption fit over there.
Yeah.
I would too. I mean, I think it's got to be reasonable from the standpoint of the amount of room you have on your boundary. And that's what he's arguing right now to our head official. It's tight boundary. I don't have enough room. We're trying to keep our guys back, and you're going to call. Sure, I get the warning, but you're going to call a penalty on me in this stage of the game.
So referee Scott Baudet goes over and talks with the head linesman. Let's see what they decide to do. Will they pick up the flag, or is it a penalty?
That's a 15-yard sideline infraction. They're going to mark it off. Wow, that's big.
That's huge, because now it sets up a Hail Mary into the end zone, tip ball, and anybody grabs it. Wow. Takes away a little bit of the breathing room for the defense.
Well, I mean, if you look over there, and we got a nice little venue right here at Country, but it is tight on that boundary. And I've been on a lot of tight boundaries, and when you've got a lot of kids, they push forward, pushes your coaching staff forward. And you got to be aware of that from the coaching standpoint. That's why you got to get that coach.
Carruth flushed out of the pocket. He's got to run it now inside the 20, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line with 3 seconds to play in the half. Got the first down and a chance for one more play. A 22-yard run by Carruth, who can do it all.
I tell you what, he extends the play extremely well. Nothing open, looks down the field, even looked over to his third progression. He's closed. He scampers out there down the sideline for a great first down and an opportunity with 3 seconds on the clock to put another one on the board.
You know, you go back now with Country Day using their last timeout, which I thought they did a few moments ago when Newman did. How much does that Newman timeout hurt them as you look at the scramble?
Well, it hurts you tremendously, but what hurts more is the penalty. You see the nice look at the scramble right there by Carruth. But, I mean, it's a couple things so far in this drive that have hurt Newman. Number one, I thought the timeout was a little questionable from that standpoint. Unless there was an issue, they couldn't get a call in or get personnel in. And then number two, getting the penalty right there on the sideline infraction. You know, those are two big things that I'm sure Nelson Stewart will look back and maybe change things around a little bit next time.
Stewart doesn't have the opportunity to see what we see on the monitors, but Carruth stepped out at the 10-yard line, plain as day, and he got a generous spot to the 8-yard line.
Well, if his coaches were sitting in the booth with us right here, they'd radio down and say, throw the red flag.
Yeah. Then they'd be sitting, well, they'd have to climb up the scaffolding to take a look. They'd never get here to take a look.
You had a hard time getting up that scaffolding.
But I did get a 9-3 from the Russian judge. He liked the move. You got the gold, though, you dirty dog. You got the gold on that one. Look, close enough with the penalty, the timeout situations, the scramble by Carruth. Country Day says, let's take this opportunity and at least get 3 with that many seconds, 3 left to play in the half. As Patagna doesn't hook this one out. It's good on the final play of the half. A field goal by Price Patagna has given Country Day a 24-7 lead. This game has turned on 2 onside kicks, both kicked and recovered by Price Patagna. At halftime, 24-7 Country Day. Welcome back to Country Day, Windsor Field. Ken Berthelot, along with Wade Kaiser, Les East down on the field, our entire WHNO TV crew. And at halftime, Country Day, with their undefeated record at 7-0, looking good, leading the Newman Greenies 24-7. What a first half, Wade Kaiser.
Well, I'll tell you what's great about it is the special teams. I love special teams. 2 onside kicks, a reverse on a kickoff return, a field goal. I tell you what, it's been exciting. I'm going to tell you what, though. Right now, the Newman Greenies should be getting their tail chewed a little bit because they're not playing up to par, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But a Country Day, I tell you what a great coaching plan Joe Chango and his staff have come out with to really put a shocker into these Newman Greenies.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights of this game, and looked for a while like nobody was going to score. Then all of a sudden, here come the Cajuns, and Patrick Kern from 11 yards out, 7-0.
And you got Patagna right there on his onside kick.
Recovers
First one
it.
of the afternoon. He recovers his own kick.
Leads to a touchdown by Jake Gitter from 4 yards out. Followed a couple of big plays, 14-0 Cajuns.
So what do? You onside kick again. You recover your own onside kick. I tell you what, this guy does it all. This guy does it all. Patagna.
And that leads to another touchdown. This is Gitter from 2 yards out, and it's now 21-0. Newman needs something. They finally kick it deep.
You kick it deep, and what do? You hand it off to Calhoun on the reverse. I tell you what, there isn't a gray jersey around him. They're running into the screen at the last second. He looked like he was shot out of a gun. He hit that thing so fast.
89 yards for a touchdown, and then a field goal later makes it 24-7 at the half. Look at these statistics right here. My goodness. Country Day dominating almost every area of the statistics.
Right, and this is why I'm talking about, I'm sure right now, that the Newman staff, Nelson Stewart and his fine staff, are ripping into his guys a little bit. You can see it right there in the stats. You can see.
Country Day has more first downs
Correct.
than Newman has total yards in the game, 14-13.
Hence the ripping. There needs to be some of that done.
Yes.
Look at the time of possession right here, 19:59 to 4:01. The bottom line were the 2 onside kicks that helped with that, but it's lopsided. The guys in green and white are not playing to their potential. And Country Day, I tell you what, has come out and shocked these guys that are playing beautifully right now.
Well, Country Day had the football for almost 12 minutes, almost the entire second quarter and almost the entire first half. Anyway, we'll be back with our second half right after this. 24-7 Country Day at the half.
We have to do it. We can't. There's no way around it.
I don't care if they warmed up already.
I know.
This is the worst thing that can happen, is let him sit here now for 3 minutes. But
It's out of our hands.
Taking over when Mark got punched. He got beat up by his own player.
I'm not losing my job or because of that.
Who? Which way we're going?
Well, Country Day leading 24-7 at halftime. That's Bill Stubbs and his defensive coordinator, Chris Lashney, the coach and defensive coordinator at Riverside. They're here scouting. Frank Monica, the coach at St. Charles Catholic, is scouting here also today. The reason why Bill Stubbs is here, big game coming up next Friday at Bertolino, Riverside, and this team right here, Country Day, battling for the supremacy of 9-2A.
Well, I tell you what, you look at that, that's murderer's row right there. Riverside, Country Day, St. Charles Catholic, West St. John, Newman, and Sophie B. Wright's programs coming around in the past couple of years, even though they're struggling. And this predominantly single-A school, Country Day, who has done a great job in single-A for a number of years, moved into double-A last year into this tough 9-2A, has held their own, and you can see today they're right here leading a real good Newman team going into the second half.
By the way, what a job Billy Stubbs has done. And Frank Monica at St. Charles Catholic, Billy at Riverside. Goodness gracious. These guys, just year after year,
well, it's
produce powerhouses.
Right. It's good coaching, good players, Louisiana football, some of the best in the country at all levels, 5A all the way down to single A.
Patagna gets set to kick off. He successfully kicked and recovered twice onside kicks in the first half, and he'll do it again. This one not the true onsider, it's more of a squib kick, but Newman gets no return, falls on it at the 29-yard line.
I don't think that was the true onside he wanted, but it was a squib.
Let's go downstairs to Les East to talk with the coaches at halftime. Les, take it away.
Yeah, Ken, Joe Chango, the Country Day coach, obviously was very happy with the first half, especially those two onside kicks they recovered. I asked him if the plan was to try and keep the ball away from Newman's offense, and he smiled and said, no, our plan is to try and score as many points as possible, which gives you an insight into his aggressive nature. As for Nelson Stewart on the Newman sideline, he said they stole the momentum. His team came out cold. Those two onside kicks hurt. And but what he told his players at halftime was, this is not insurmountable. Let's focus on executing what we do best, and everything will take care of itself. Back to you, Ken.
Yeah, they've got to execute, because total plays in the first half, 41 for Country Day, 10 for Newman. They went nowhere on the first down play. Matter of fact, they lost 5 on it, and then they drop a pass on second down, so it's 3rd and 15 to start the second half as Story Charbonnet couldn't hold that one.
Well, they throw the very first pass backwards. It was a lateral that was actually fumbled. They're lucky they didn't get that thing in a turnover to Country Day. And then right there you see the slant pass to Story Charbonnet, and he hits him in the hands and he drops it.
3rd down, 15. Got a long way to go from their own 25. Miles Lapierre at quarterback. 6-foot senior, a lot of experience. Calm in pressure situations. He's going long, has a man with a step and threw it on the other side, the wrong shoulder, the outside shoulder. And unfortunately, Brian McGowan had to turn and couldn't catch it.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great job by the Country Day defender getting his hands right in there, kind of pulling his arm down at the last second, so McGowan couldn't get both hands up to catch that ball over his right shoulder.
It's like McGowan outran the pass.
Correct.
To wait for it.
Right,
a little bit behind him.
A little bit behind him, but I also think it was an excellent job right there, running stride for stride, was the defender from Country Day.
Kirk Groom to punt. Averages just under 40. This is a short punt, and it hits at the midfield stripe and then bounces back, giving a Country Day roll before the Greenies down in a 21-yard punt. So Groom, who's normally an excellent punter, averaging just under 40, has had 2 in the 20s in this game for the Greenies. Carruth's first half numbers, how's that for steady play? 13 of 17, almost 150 yards.
Oh, it's one of the reasons why he's the number 8 passer in the state. I mean, he's steady, he's smart, he makes good decisions, he's a senior. Like I said, he is a field marshal. We're seeing 2 of the best quarterbacks today on the field right here in the state of Louisiana at our lower levels of football.
And he also had 24 yards rushing, Carruth, in the first half. He'll hand it off on this down, and nice run to almost move the chains. Be a little bit short of the first down by 3 yards, but again, Country Day just running well. This young man right here, Christian Carruth, does so much, often handing off to Patrick Kern, and the son of Blaine Kern, grandson of Barry Kern, grandson of Blaine. Little bitty guy at 5'7". Talked about that in the first half, but Kern has not let that stop him. He runs with authority and has just been, along with Jake Gitter, stars on this Country Day team, helping lead the Cajuns to an undefeated 7-0 record, which is why you saw Bill Stubbs and others here. Boy, how about a hit by Kobe Porsche? He's getting up slow. He got his bell rung on that hit. Goodness gracious. Patrick Kern just gets up like it was nothing.
Nobody gets up to Kobe Porsche right there. And Kobe Porsche comes from his linebacker position on the counter play. There's a kick out. Whack.
Boom.
Hello.
Ooh, that's helmet to helmet.
That's helmet to helmet. Needed to use his shoulder a little bit more. He's staying in the game, but nobody got to the block on him. That's how he comes off and makes a nice tackle.
Workhorse, 18 carries, now just over 8, make it 19, over 80 yards for Kern, and he got the first down. Right up the middle, moved the chains, and he did.
Country Day picks up right where they left off. They're controlling the line of scrimmage. I said it back in the first half. One of the things that has led to the success, besides the onside kick of Country Day in this football game, is the job that this offensive line is doing. That's Polinar, Jenkins, Killeen, Mock, Nolte. These guys are handling that Newman defensive line.
I think we have a new running back. Let me check. Might be Buckner Hebe. And Hebe gets the call. His first carry of the afternoon. A sophomore running back. Stopped very quickly by Cy Winsberg.
That is Buckner Hebe running the inside zone right there, pounding it up inside. No place to go. Cy Winsberg does a great job stepping up, filling that hole from his linebacker position. Here it is, double team, wrap around ISO. Coming up, great tackle. Nobody got up to Winsberg on that offensive line. What should have happened is the guys on the double team, one guy should have came off and worked to the second level and gotten his pads on Winsberg. It didn't happen.
Good season numbers on Hebe. And that one almost picked off by Porsche.
Bootleg.
Kobe Porsche. So.
Right, bootleg off the play action. They fake the same run play. He sprints to his right. Here's a good look at it. Almost a bad decision. One of the few on the day by Christian Carruth. hits Poche right in the hands. I know he wants that one over again. What a fine
Well, if
football
his
player
bell
he
was
is.
still ringing after he went head-to-head with Patrick Kern a little while ago, it didn't show on that play. Good season numbers on Porsche. 4 of 8 on third down conversions for Country Day with the 24-7 lead here. Pass batted down, almost picked off on the tip drill, but Porsche couldn't get that one either. He's been all over the field defensively, so he shook off that hit earlier very quickly.
First thing I've noticed what Newman has made an adjustment on their defense this second half is they're not blitzing as much. They're not bringing a lot of pressures. All this year, they brought a lot of pressures on the offense, and that's one thing Joe Chango said was going to be a concern of his in this game. So they've been controlling it with sprint outs, changing up their cadence, and right now they're putting their linebackers into coverage, and they're covering these underneath routes like you just saw at a Poche right
5'11", 180, a senior, man. What a player he's been for this Greeny team. Now remember, Christian Caruth, your quarterback, is your punter. He can quick kick, he can go for it. They're going for it all the way. No quick kick here. Going to be a halfback option. Kern's going to throw. Has a man wide open. Touchdown, Country Day. Patagna, Price Patagna.
Tell you what, he got behind the receiver. It was a stalk and go, double move off of the halfback toss and the pass. Wide open, touchdown. Wow.
34-yard touchdown, Patagna.
Oh,
You
then,
watch.
then he's got to go kick it. Isn't that awesome? He onside kicks, he PATs, he field goals, he catches touchdown passes, he plays a little defense like every down. And now he goes and kicks the PAT after his
Probably
touchdown.
does some coaching and cooks the post-game meal for this team, too. No wonder everybody's here. Bad snap, put down well. Kicked up and good. Another look at the touchdown. The halfback option pass. The defender falls, leaving Patagna wide open for the score. Country Day, a 7-play, 47-yard drive, 2 minutes and 22 seconds, a 34-yard halfback option from Kern to Patagna for a touchdown, makes it 31-7 here at Wenzel Field on the campus of Country Day in Metairie. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, Tommy Cooper, and Les East in the booth, our entire WHNO TV crew. Great pictures. Patagna to kick off. Who else? He is the punter, by the way. If Caruth doesn't punt, he's also the punter. They're going to squib it again. Picked up by the short man. Nowhere to go. Let's go downstairs to Les East with a guest.
Thanks, Ken. I'm here with Bailey Batt with Joseph A. Bank. Tell us about your connections with these two programs, because it's kind of interesting how you are connected to both these schools.
So my grandfather and my dad and my uncle all went to Newman. It was a mix-up if I was going to go to Newman or Sacred Heart, so I went to an all-girls school. So this is a little different for me. But my boyfriend went to Newman and then switched over to Country Day, so that is a house divided as well. But, yeah, if my parents had boys, they were going to go to Newman. If they had girls, they were going to Sacred Heart, and my dad lost that bet right then and there, and we both went to Sacred Heart.
And what do you think about this atmosphere? Both schools well represented here, a beautiful fall afternoon.
It's awesome. I never had this. I went to an all-girls school. We never had football. Closest we had was volleyball. So I grew up going to Newman games, and then I made friends at Country Day and started going to these games, and it was awesome. I mean, The fans are awesome. Just the atmosphere is just amazing, and it's a beautiful day for this football game. And I'm so happy that I'm here and was able to make it.
Well, thanks, Bailey, and thanks to Joseph A. Bank for all you do for prep sports on WHNO. Back to you, Ken.
Thanks, Les. LePere on the scramble, throws it, caught, out of bounds, short of the first down. McGowan with that catch. Dylan Hill made the first catch for 3 yards. Brian McGowan, a senior with 4 touchdowns, makes, I believe, his 17th catch because he's had one in the first half.
One of the great attributes about Miles LePere, Ken, is he can extend the play. Right there, he had pressure on him. He got away from it, extended the play, kept his eyes down the field, and hit his receiver. Trying
to be successful for the first time on 4 attempts on 3rd down. LePere, good strike, and it's fumbled. The catch, it's fumbled. Country Day has it. McGowan, the receiver, was hit, fumbled it, and it's recovered by the Country Day Cajuns.
I tell you what, Newman just can't get a break today. They're having a lot of things go badly against them. Dropping passes, then having balls knocked out, like right there on the fumble. Just can't get it together and get the momentum onto their side. Seems like every time there's a chance to get something going, something happens, whether it's a penalty or whether it's a fumble. And
that would have been their first down.
Their first down. I tell you what, and here we go with Country Day taking the ball over at midfield in a great situation to continue with the momentum push.
Would have been an 18-yard gain, a first down. The fumble gives it to Country Day, and Country Day's at midfield in great shape. Christian Carruth at quarterback. He will toss it long. They're going for the strike. Has a man overthrew him.
Well, I'll tell you what. If that ball had just a little more air under it, it would have been completed. What a great route right there. They're trying to take it and really stretch it vertically, and that was
Patagna.
Our guy Patagna.
Well covered by Will. Well, I say well covered. He had a step and a half on Will Bryant.
Right, he had a couple of steps. That was Patagna again, vertical. Just a little more air under that bar. It would have been a touchdown by Patagna. He'd have been kicking another PAT, and then kicking off, and then playing defense.
Joe Chanka's got to love this kid, and he does. Keep it on the ground. That's Hebe on the carry. So on 2nd down or 10, Hebe gets a few, makes it 3rd down 7 now for Country Day, and that guy right there has played a heck of a game. That's Brandon Williams.
He's
20 tackles, 5 TFLs.
Right, he's only a freshman. He's the sack leader of the Newman Greenies, and he has a great future in front of him.
Oh, while the Greenies see to the injured player, we'll take a break. Be back in just a moment. Country Day with a commanding lead over Newman here at Country Day. So Wade Kaiser, Bill Stubbs is watching this Country Day team and all the things they can do, including the trick plays. What's going through his mind right now?
He's going to practice his kickoff return recovery for surprise onsides this week.
Absolutely. Swing pass out of the backfield. Complete. That's Hebe again.
Hebe swing pass. They've been exploiting this all day. He looks downfield at his first progression, second progression, hits the back on his third progression on the swing right there. There's Hebe. Nobody's covering him. They got to get a linebacker out on that. And they're just giving that up. That's huge pickups all day for him.
And again, Hebe getting a great opportunity to play against a quality opponent because of the sizable lead by the Cajuns. Toss back this time to Gitter, and Gitter coming to the near side.
Stretch screen, face the stretch to the left, turn around, throw the wide receiver screen back to the right, get everybody flowing on the defense to their right and go against the flow. Great execution right there by the Country Day offense. I love the play call. I love the play call in the situation. We'll bring up a second and meet him. Good look right there at Jake Gitter, who also plays linebacker too on defense.
Natural grass field, and he went down in one of the dirt spots where the grass has been trampled down, and you saw him when he got up. He had dirt all over his face, dirt coming out of the helmet. He just went sliding into a little dirt pile, kind of like playground ball when you used to play it. Now, looked like that one might have been messed up on the handoff, so Carruth just makes something positive out of it.
Well, the back went the wrong way. They were supposed to be running counter to their right. They pulled the backside guard, Jenkins. They led the H-back through right there, Gitter, and they missed the handoff right there. Carruth runs it, picks up once he can, very wisely goes down for the slide into second base, and I think he's safe.
Still got the first down on that play, so the Cajuns move the chains. Great shot of Carruth.
I tell you what, I like this guy. He has heads up. He knows where he's going with the ball. He's patient in reading through his progressions. He's very well coached.
Led this team to 18 first downs in this game. We'll hand this one off. And Hebe inside the 25-yard line on a gain of 7. Country Day is picking up real estate in big chunks.
Control of the offensive line. Hebe runs the sweep to his right, sticks his foot in the ground, finds a crease, and gets vertical up the field, and he runs into the Newman secondary. Newman's got to get more physical up front. They've got to be able to do something, give them some sort of movement out of those defensive linemen, maybe twists, slants, some of those things to try to put a little bit more pressure on that Country Day offensive line, because those guys in the gray jerseys right now are controlling them.
Kern and Gitter, when they step out, you lose nothing when Hebe comes in to run the football. He is showing some good prowess for a young player. Carey again as a sophomore. Country Day in no hurry. They'll eat a lot of clock here. 4.5 to play in the third quarter. Commanding lead.
I don't know if Newman just heard me and they're locked in on my headsets, but they did pinch down their defensive ends right there that time and allowed the linebackers to scrape over the top and to make short work of Hebe right there in the inside zone. He had nowhere to go. That's the type of movement I'm talking about. They just can't sit there for some reason and play toe-to-toe with this Country Day offensive line. They're going to have to be able to move their front a little bit.
Nelson Stewart was walking around the sideline trying to get a better view where he could pick up the signal from your headset. He's listening. Right side inside the 20-yard line, and this is the Hebe show. This is the Buckner Hebe series. They're just handing them the ball, said work your way down there and let's run clock.
Well, they run the sweep to the right. They block the defensive end. They get up to the linebacker, wall him off. All he has to do is put the foot in the ground, get north and south, and he picks up 8 to 10 yards right there.
First down, as Country Day just has a long, sustained third quarter clock-eating drive. All of this coming off a fumble on what would have been the initial first down of this half for Newman. And again, just eat clock. Get a little bit at a time. Doesn't matter whether you get 3 or 7 on the board. Hebe's going, I'm not tired, not coming out, shaking the helmet. No, give me that ball. I want to take it all the way.
Well, he's getting his shot. He's a sophomore. He doesn't want to come off the field. He wants to feed me. You get a good look right there at number
Patagna came off the field.
5.
Oh, yeah. That's one guy they cannot afford to lose right there. Offense, defense, kicking game. Backup punter for Root. 9 plays on this drive so far. This is the 10th play of the drive. And there's the toss to Wynn.
Wynn catches the ball on the short route, the quick hitch. 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3. Ball out of my hand on time. Right there, hitch route, good catch. Little underthrown. He comes back to the ball like a good receiver should do, and he scoops the catch.
Good big 6'1" frame for Chandler Wynn. Can stretch it out. Country Day just slowly driving. Now at the 15-yard line of Newman. Time of possession, so much in favor of Country Day in this game. There's a toss over the middle, wide open. That's a touchdown. Touchdown, Country Day Cajuns.
Tell you what, that's the bootleg right there. And I believe that was Jake Gitter on the deep crossing route. The senior Jake Gitter on the deep crossing route, the second level of the drag, and Carruth puts it right on his numbers, and the ball about knocks him into the end zone. It was thrown so hard. Wide open. Result is another touchdown for the Country Day Cajuns.
37-7. If you wonder why Country Day is undefeated, and you've watched this game and you've seen how powerful they are as an offense, the defense playing so well against Newman in this contest. High snap put down well. This one blocked.
Looked like
snap was way too high,
Snap was way too high, threw the timing off, and you're not going to be able to get that ball down. Here's another look at the touchdown. Bootleg pass, boom, right in his chest, into the hands, touchdown Cajuns.
Country Day 37-7 over Newman. We are at Windsor Field on the campus of Country Day. Price Patagna, the kicker, standing by that football. He limped out there.
Well, the question is he or isn't he
going
to onside kick it?
No, not up 37-7. Plus, if he did strain a muscle or get a cramp or whatever, maybe injured himself in a scrum, trying to recover another football. You don't want to get him injured down the road. You need him. He's going to send this one. Squibbit on its way, picked up by the short man at the 25. And Newman gets 10, 11, 12, 13, which is more than they've been getting off the kickoff. So good news for Newman.
This copyright telecast of the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcasted, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of WHNO-TV Channel 20.
That drive by Country Day, 11 plays, 52 yards. They ate up 5 minutes and 39 seconds. That's almost half of the quarter. Gitter scored on the 15-yard bootleg TD pass reception. Tell you something about it in just a moment. Here's first down for the Greenies. LePere drops back, wanted to dump it long. Everybody's covered, so he'll throw it incomplete, intending that ball for Brian McGowan. But Newman, in the entire game, has 16 plays, 33 yards, and on that drive, Country Day had 11 plays and 52 yards. So, I mean, on that drive, they almost have an output offense-wise equal to just a little bit less than what Country Day's got in the game.
You can see the domination today so far. And, what Newman needs to do is they need to start pressing the issue a little bit.
Now, they tried to on first down, but no one was open. Great coverage in the secondary, so they'll run it. They'll run it on second down and get a few. James Poche on the run. Haven't seen him or heard from him. He's been very quiet in this. Well,
they haven't had the ball.
That's because they haven't had the ball. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth on that one. And if they want to keep it a little longer, they're going to need about 6 on this third down play. They're going to get it. There's the toss. And that's Story Charbonnet with the catch in the first down.
Right, off the run pass option right there. They fake it, they pull the ball out, and then there is Story Charbonnet makes a catch, picks up a first down, and
the first down for Newman in this game. The very first one. Let's see if that'll spur him on to something. Miles LePere tosses, has a man inside the 15, inside the 10 on the catch. Big catch by Dylan Hill.
Great throw by Miles LePere. Jumps it into the soft area, the void area versus two deep coverage. You can take a look at it right here. Really can't see the receiver, but there is the DB, the corner behind him, and here comes the safety too late. The safety was held by another vertical route, so that corner should have been running vertically with the receiver. It's a busted coverage.
LePere on first down, scrambling, being chased by three defenders. Breaks one tackle and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Miles LePere on the scramble, pulling some of the turf out of his face mask.
Well, that was second base he was pulling out of his face mask, because that side of the field goes right over into the Country Day baseball field. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Let's extend the play. Extend the play, extend the play. Keep your eyes downfield, nothing there. Don't make a bad decision. He tucks it and picks up something, then he gets stuck going out of bounds.
Second and goal. Loss of 6 on that last play. Good run, second effort inside the 5. Very close by James Poche, the junior.
Sweep to the right. Poche goes off the edge, goes down inside the 5-yard line, very near the goal line for a score. They're trying to pick up the tempo now. You can see it.
Now the third quarter will end before Newman can snap the football. We had a whistle first, though. But I think it was because the quarter had ended and the siren on the scoreboard did not go off. But wait a minute, the officials are talking about it, so hold on. The siren, which is what they use here on the scoreboard to end the quarters.
Well, I think they're right. They're trying to get the yard line right down there so they can take it all the way down to the other end. They're
going to the other end. The third quarter is history, and Country Day has rolled to a 37-7 comfortable lead over the Newman Green. Crowd loving it here at Country Day because their Cajuns have a commanding lead. But as we start the fourth quarter, Newman about to score. Handoff, run up the middle, and the Country Day defense says touchdown. Touchdown by Poche, James Poche.
Poche rams it up inside, gets a good push from that Newman offensive line, and they finally get that touchdown score that they needed on a long, sustained drive. That's a huge answer. That's something they needed. That's something they can build off of.
Ninth TD for him. Ninth touchdown of the year.
You know, he's a fine running back. He's got to get into his groove, but like we've already said, they haven't had the ball that much in order to be able to do that. So that was a drive that they needed to put together to try to spar them on to get something going in this fourth quarter, get back into this football game.
Kirk Grooms to attempt the point after. High snap, but it's put down well, and Grooms gets it up and good. 37-14, Country Day with the lead as Newman scores on the first play of the fourth quarter. Extra effort to get to the end zone. 7-play, 58-yard drive. Took 2 minutes and 7 seconds. 2-yard run by Poche on the first offensive play of the fourth quarter. Makes this a 37-14 game and gives the Newman Greenies their second touchdown of this game. Looks like an onside kick.
They are setting up for the onside kick. I think I would kick it deep.
They heard you once again. No, it is an onside kick. And they might have a chance at it because Country Day came up to try to get it, and it bounced off one of the Cajun players, and Newman gets it back. It's none other than the young man who just scored the touchdown, James Poche.
Here's your kick right here. Slides on the ground trying to get the hop. Doesn't get it. Right off the shin of that Country. Right off the shin of that Country Day Cajun, discovered by Poche right there. Tell you what, that's a momentum getter.
Yeah, it's a momentum game.
What do I know? I mean, I'd have kicked it deep and played defense, got the ball back, but what do I know? There you go. That's awesome. Great call by the Newman Greenies.
So Greenies say you guys can onside kick and recover. We can too. Handoff. Poche, left side, gets a first down and more, and that onside kick recovery and touchdown by Poche has inspired this Newman team. It's inspired James Poche.
Poche right there bounces it off the left side of his offense on the zone run. Tucks it away. Tell you what, great yardage right there, picking up the first down.
16-yard gain. LePere. He wants to strike quick, strike fast. It's caught and out of bounds by Dylan Hill. What a catch by Dylan Hill, the junior, with good outstretched arms to pull it down.
All right, they're in cover 2 right here. The Cajuns are. There's no safety help across the top right there. You can see him running behind the receiver. One is the corner, one is the safety. Safety's not getting there. That's the problem right there in the coverage, and LePere puts it right on the money.
Now he's going to go right into the corner of the end zone. This one's intercepted. Intercepted after a 35-yard catch by Dylan Hill. They go back to Dylan Hill, try to use his speed, and this one is picked off by Caleb Jenkins.
Caleb Jenkins. Right. Caleb Jenkins plays it beautifully on the fade route to the pylon. You can see LePere trying to throw it to the pylon right there. Look at Jenkins, kind of a little push off right there, but who's talking about that? He comes down with it with a foot in control of the ball, and it is an interception turnover. Ouch.
Oh, that is a momentum stealer. They had a fumble earlier in this half, and now the interception. 2 turnovers. When you're trying to come back from a big deficit, you cannot turn it over, and the Greenies have done so twice. First down, Country Day. Carruth on the throw, dropped in the backfield. That's an incomplete pass, not a lateral.
Dropped in the backfield right there. That was to number 7,
Caleb Jenkins, who just made the interception. Plays both ways. Again, you love your two-way players. Caleb Jenkins is one of them.
I had the great fortune to be able to coach at the single-A level, the double-A level, and you had to play players both ways. And, I know how Joe Chango coaches his team. He works offense on one day, defense on the next, and he tackles every day. Fundamentals, fundamentals, fundamentals. I had the opportunity to come out here and watch him practice on Tuesday, and you saw nothing but fundamentals going on their offensive day. They tackled first, and then they worked offense. All of the things of offense. That's just catching balls.
Well, here's who Joe
shoulders.
Chango.
Right, balls over their shoulders, but blocking and a lot of things. But you can see what's facing
Joe Chango
in the next 2 weeks. This tough Newman team today, they're number 8 in the 2A top 10 right there. They've got Riverside, the number 2 team right there next Friday, and then they got St. Charles Catholic, the number 17, to end up on week 10.
Wow. Boy, that's a strong top 10, though.
Well, you play them one at a time. You worry about who is in front of you this week. And right now, this week they were worried about these guys in green and white, and they've come out and really played great intensity, inspired football.
Well,
and look at what they've done.
We've told you that Billy Stubbs was here watching. We also told you earlier that Frank Monica was watching, and I'm worried about Frank. Frank was a little ill earlier this week, and you watch Country Day play today, it's enough to get you ill all over again.
Well,
make you sick.
Well,
when you watch this powerhouse play.
Well,
Just teasing, of course.
Right. Frank Monica and Bill Stubbs, two of the finest coaches in the state of Louisiana. I had the opportunity to work with Frank Monica at one time, coached his sons who are now coaches with him and his nephew, and he'll have his guys ready to go.
Kern to the 25, running the football, but some great football in 2A, and especially in this District 9 2A, without question. Private schools, of course, in this district would be heading to the Division III playoffs.
Don't get me started on that. I'm just telling you, don't get me started on that. I'll sit and fill your ear for an hour on that.
And we'd love it.
The
reason we'd love it is because everything you say is true.
Yeah, so with the LHSAA.
Everything you say is common sense, but let's remember, with the LHSAA, common sense is not always common practice. That's a catch by Chandler Wynn. Here's your power ratings, if I can get that out, in Division III.
Good look at it right there. You can see St. Charles Catholic 3, Country Day 6, Riverside Academy number 2, Notre Dame of Crowley number 1, Haynes 4. I mean, just look at that. I tell you what, those are some powerful Division III teams. Newman down there at 12. It's going to be decided on December 12th, also in the Superdome, a week prior to the regular non-select championships.
Well, Riverside, St. Charles, and Country Day, if it ended today, would all be on the same side of the bracket, and that's a shame.
Ouch. Newman would be away from that, so.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that's some great football teams right there in that top 16. St. Thomas Aquinas, who's been to the Dome, right there. Episcopal Baton Rouge, Sacred Heart of Bill Platt, a really good football team. And Thomas Jefferson, a public school that is falling in as a select team on the west bank of Jefferson Parish, ranked in that top 16.
That was Chandler Wynn who had made the catch. He was shaken up. Ran off the field under his own power. That's good. Got a nice round of applause from the fans here at Country Day. 10.5 to play in this game. Country Day cruising. Newman had built a little momentum with a touchdown, an onside kick recovery, a quick drive down the field, but Caleb Jenkins with an interception in the end zone stole the momentum back. And now Patrick Kern, who just ran the football, and the Country Day offense just eating some clock, trying to tuck this one safely away. We've been watching. Go ahead.
Right, Patrick Kern right there takes the handoff on the inside zone and picks up 5 yards. Again, talking about how this Country Day offensive line has done such a great job all afternoon long, getting great movement on those guys in the white jerseys.
Kern, 21 of 88, 21 rushes to 88 yards and a TD in this game. Second down. Be short of moving the chains to the 40-yard line. Third down coming up for Country Day. They'll have 5 to get at Patrick Kern on the run once more.
Right behind the counter blocking of the right guard from Metairie Park Country Day, which was William Nolte, kicking out the right defensive end of Newman. He gets right up inside and picks up valuable yardage. Brings up a 3rd and medium.
Country Day 8 of 13 when facing 3rd down this afternoon. Keep it on the ground. Look at the hole for Patrick Kern. The cutback. It's a race to the end zone. Kern steps inside the defender and finally is brought down inside the 15-yard line. 48 yards by Patrick Kern, the senior.
Tell you what, great execution. If we get a chance to look at this again, we're going to show you a couple of great blocks at the point of attack. Here it is. I ask, I get. Here's the handoff on the cutback right there. You just didn't see it in that pile. Great blocking right there by William Nolte, as well as the center, Cale Killeen, right there. And the kick-out block by Avery Jenkins coming across and getting a great kick-out opens up a hole that you could run through for that huge gain for Country Day.
I could have on that one because it was that big. Wow. Kern limped off slightly. So he's replaced by Jake Gitter at running back, who gets the handoff. Gitter up the middle. Gitter fighting for yardage, motoring through everybody inside the 5-yard line.
Why not run it again? Same play. Counter right there. Kick out by the guard. Gitter runs off the cut. The kick out block by the guard. Rams it up inside for a nice pickup. Bring up second and short. Still can get the first down. There's a good look at it right there. Look how he gets the shoulder pads north and south. Run a little high. Did he drop that ball? Looked like he dropped it and fell on his own fumble. Come on, got to tuck that ball away.
We need replay in high school. Common sense, not always common practice.
There you go.
There we go. Christian Carute with Gitter behind him. Hand off to Gitter. Gitter motoring on the left side. Touchdown. 4th for Gitter today. Wow.
Cuts it back against the grain, walks into the end zone.
But that was set up by the 48-yard run by Patrick Kern, who had limped off the field. Gitter just finished it off for him. And Country Day looking like the powerhouse record they have on their way to 8-0, 3-0 in District 9 2A. Patagna drills this one. And it's all Country Day.
Good look at it again. There's a cutback right there. Watch him walk in. There we go. Touchdown.
Welcome back to Country Day, where the Cajuns are showing why they deserve to be an 8-0 team. That's what they're on their way to. 3-0 in district. And this young man, Price Patagna, kicker, extra points, defensive back, wide receiver. Cook for the post-game, pre-game meals. We're kidding there, but he should be doing everything else. The 3rd onside kick of this game for Country Day. And that's recovered by James Poche. Catch Prep Recruiting Insider Wednesdays on WHNO, our series focusing on the world of high school recruiting. Rick Gailey and Renee Nato take an in-depth look at the best prospects in our area, past and present. It's PRI each Wednesday at 6 here on WHNO TV 20. This week, it's Jesuit Week. Coach Sanchi and some of the Blue Jay players will be there. Last week, boy, Coach Gailey was fired up because his old St. James boys were there. So he was all excited last week. Long pass, got a man, touchdown, a one-play drive score to Jack White, a 5'9" senior who has been little used on offense in this game. 52 yards for Newman, and they strike quickly after the kickoff.
The pair sprints to his right, and Brian McGowan just runs past the coverage.
If you don't want to turn it over, score quickly. That way you don't have to worry about the fumble or the interception later on.
Well, a pair just throws it out there, and McGowan runs right under it. And what a great throw, great catch. Expect an onside kick coming back after this PAT.
This has been such a fabulous game to watch, an exciting game. Onside kicks, bombs for touchdown, long runs to set up scores. Groom boots the point after. Let's look at this TD one more time.
You can see LePere sprinting to his right, plants his feet, just airs it out. Running behind the coverage right there. Brian McGowan steps on top of the coverage for the touchdown. I'll tell you what, the ball was on the money. Nice pass, nice catch.
Kind of drive you like, Wade Kaiser. One play, 52 yards, 13 seconds. Instruments up. That's all that's left, man. Band plays the fight song.
We're going to probably see an onside kick coming right now. We've seen 3 so far today. Let's take a look at them real quick, see if we can get another glance at all the onside kicks of the day.
The first successful onside kick, Patagna kicks it, recovers it. Country Day went down and scored. They get set to kick off again. And Patagna, who does it all, well, here's one of the onside kicks by Newman. Bounces off a Cajun player, and it's recovered by Poche.
I got to think we're going to see another one here, Ken. I think.
But there was another one that we didn't look at, and again,
Right.
but it was a spitting image of the one you saw from Country Day. So Country Day had 2 that were lookalikes, and you got to figure Nelson Stewart's going, absolutely. We want to get back in this game. It can be done. There's been 3 onside kick recoveries, 1 by us. Let's see if we can make it 2. They started on the football, but the official had not blown the whistle yet.
Country Day has their hands team on the field.
There it
Sky.
is. This one's a sky kick, but it goes out of bounds. Kick it again, or take it at the 35? I'd take
Take it at the 35.
well, yeah, well, this time,
should
sorry,
be where the
check
ball
that,
went
where
out
the
of
ball went out
bounds.
of bounds, absolutely.
So what's going to happen is the ball was put into the air. That's Kurt Groom, number 53. I'm sure it was meant to be a sky kick, which is a little bit too much oomph on his kick. And Nelson's not healthy right there. You can tell it hasn't been his day or his team's day. So.
Groom's a senior. He's been their starting kicker since the sophomore year. And I know Nelson just didn't want to see him get too much leg into that one, but sometimes the momentum, the zeal, the enthusiasm gets in you, and you just put too much leg into it. Boom, there it goes. Country Day, great field position. Right at midfield. They're going to keep it on the ground, run some clock. Kern on the carry.
Kern picking his way through right there. Does a nice job following his blockers. In fact, he's pushing one along as he's trying to look for room, and picks up about 6 yards and brings up a very nice 2nd and 4 for this offense that is in a 4-minute offense at this stage of the game.
Yeah, with 6.5 to play. Great numbers on Kern. TD rush. He's got the TD pass. He didn't catch that one. He threw it on the halfback option. What a day for him. This is a game ball day for Patrick Kern, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You'd be giving him one in the locker room at halftime.
Heck,
or at the end
I'd
of the
be
game.
buying one of our discs.
Absolutely.
Trying to push a little sales there.
Kern again on the carry, gaining 4 more, picking up the first down and moving the chains, which means more clock and more clock to run.
Tell you what, this offense from Country Day is very well coached. Joe Chango was on my staff at Jesuit, and he was on Mark Sanji's staff at Jesuit, and when he took this job, came over here to Country Day, he brought some of the same principles that we had on our in our offense, and you can see some of them are being utilized here today, and he's doing a great job using some of these things.
Patrick Kern, one more time. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, important for Newman. Gain of 4 for Patrick Kern.
Running the sweep, chewing the clock, looking for room over there, picks up 4. Brings up 2nd down. He's going to be tired tonight.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say this young man will sleep well tonight.
You're supposed to be at this level. I mean, you're you're doing everything. You're playing offense, you're playing defense, you're kicking the ball, just like Patagna is.
25 carries, 150 yards. I think it's okay to tell Dad I won't be working in the float den tonight. I'm sleeping. Barry, let him rest tonight.
Newman does a nice job right there stopping the counter play that he had hit for that long run back last series. They crashed the end. They couldn't get the kick out right there. He's getting up a little gingerly right there.
Look out. It might be time to rest him. I don't know if he's hurt or just tired.
Well,
I'd get him out of there.
That ankle looks like it's a little gimpy a little bit. He's
got a little bit of the cow pasture on his uniform there.
Well, but getting back to the previous play, Newman does a great job right there, crashing their end down and stopping the counter play that he had busted for the long run back in the last series. Newman just hasn't done enough of that today, done enough with their defensive line.
Country Day has converted 7 of the last 8 third down tries. If they won't get this one, incomplete off the fingertips of Patagna.
Just a little bit wide, right off his fingertips. They sprint out. He gets his shoulders around. How nice was that to watch a quarterback sprinting out to his offhand side? He gets his shoulders turned around, square to the line of scrimmage, and just puts the ball right there. Just a tad bit off target for Patagna, but great fundamentals by Christian Carruth. What a well-coached quarterback he is.
Carruth 18 for 27, 192 yards. He's going to throw it over the middle. Ooh, a hit timed perfectly with the football. Incomplete. Well, they didn't make it on 4th down. Ball lost on downs. We will be back right after this. Country Day still cruising over the greenies. Newman football. Wait a minute, stop. Everything says our official and our referee, Scott Baudet.
I think about close to about 15 to 20 seconds just ran off that clock. They're going to have to reset the clock. There you go. He's resetting the clock to 1:33 or 3:33 on the clock. That's what they want to put on.
That's what Newman has to work with. They're trailing by a bunch. So look for LePere. Look for Miles LePere, the quarterback. He's a senior, great arm. He'll be tossing it. Look at the time. All day to throw the football. Now finally flushed out of the pocket. Reversed the field. LePere just tucks it under and heads for the out of bounds line. The sideline rather. We got a Newman Greenie out on the field, injured on the field, holding his knee. That was Ryan White, the offensive lineman, but he's up quickly.
Tell you what, this looked like Archie Manning back playing with the Saints.
It did.
Not Peyton or Eli, but look at this. Great block. No place to go. Up. Let me reverse my field. Still looking, still looking, still looking. Nope, let me get out of bounds. Great coverage right there by the Country Day secondary. No place to go with that ball. You're going to call that basically a coverage sack, Ken. We hear that term all the time. Apparently there's a penalty. They're going to be marking it off against Newman. That looks like 15 yards.
Might have been in the scuffle where Ryan White went down.
Well, it had to be some sort of personal foul for it to be 15 yards. I didn't see it on the playback. I didn't even see the flag thrown, but we could see the linesman.
Nelson Stewart's wanting to know what happened.
The umpire marking the ball off, so I'm sure Nelson's trying to figure out what happened too.
Yeah. He's getting an explanation. Hudson Sumrall is the center of this Newman team. No relation to the Sumrall family, who owns LaCie Broadcasting, owner of WHNO TV. Incomplete pass left side, intended for Dylan Hill. Let's take a peek at the Newman schedule. See what Nelson Stewart and company have coming up. As they're playing Country Day and wonderful September.
Well, you
tough
can see
October,
they
and
went
they've
bang,
got
bang,
Sophie
bang,
Wright
got
and
off
West
to a
St.
great
John
start.
remaining.
Got a great start, but then look, lost to Vanderbilt Catholic, a really good football team from home. At Riverside, St. Charles, they take it on the chin. They're fixing to probably take it on the chin by Country Day here today. They finish up with Sophie B. Wright, and then a tough one down at West St. John and Edgard, Louisiana.
LePere on third down, being chased. Out of bounds. He's tackled out of bounds. And Country Day, their defense going to hold. That is Jake Gitter. You see him run the football, plays two ways, also as the middle linebacker, and makes a big play, forcing fourth down for Newman. This is about it. They've got to move the chains to keep this drive going, or there is absolutely no chance.
No place to go. Watch Gitter run him down right here. Here comes Gitter. Right there. What a hustling play by number 35, Jake Gitter. No place for LePere to go with the ball. Great coverage right there. I mean, Country Day has 8 guys about 20 yards back.
LePere. Here is the toss on fourth down. Catch made. But he's out of bounds. He was out of bounds when he caught the football. And Brian McGowan can't believe it. He thought he had the first down. All goes for naught. Wow.
Here's a look at it right here. Let's see where his feet were.
There it is.
Oh, my goodness, right on the white line. We've got the video playback right now. And you can see it. He was out of bounds. Great catch right there. Thought he had the first down, throwing underneath the coverage to move the chains, and he had his foot on it. You can see he's still.
You can't believe it.
Right. He can't. Well, he's arguing his case because he feels like he was in bounds and he wasn't there.
But
so,
as you said, we have a good look, and he had a foot on the line.
Great shots by our camera crew here.
So that turns the ball over on downs to Country Day. Absolutely. Always fabulous shots by the guys on the camera. So now Country Day just wants to eat up these final 2 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock. Carruth works under center. Hands it off to Kern. Dive into the line. Let's take a look at the Country Day schedule as some more clock runs off. And there you go. All W's down, but circle the big one Friday night, October the 28th. Riverside has to come right here. Billy Stubbs is here today looking at it. They'll play it at Mus Portolino because it is a Friday night game. There's no lights here. They'll get new turf next year. So all the grass is gone. They'll get some new turf, but they will not get lights. So any games at night have to move over to another stadium.
Well, today was the first test of the gauntlet for this tough district. They'll go like today Newman, then they have the big one next week at Riverside, and then, hey, I tell you what, a really, really good St. Charles Catholic team who was beaten by Riverside last night.
They were. Buckner Hebe with the carry. Country Day just wanting clock to run, and it is. Under 2 minutes to play in this one. Country Day will up their record to 8-0, remain undefeated, 3-0 in district. Newman will fall to 3-4, and they're still looking for their first district win. Timeout. Newman.
Well, it's been a great day for those Country Day Cajuns right there. Good look at Joe Chango talking to his troops.
8-4 last year, and boy, he's turned it around. Has them undefeated this year.
Well, they've always played great football, but that was at the single A level. Okay, and they've had a great tradition of playing single A football, a very winning program. Richard Wood retires. In comes Joe Chango, and he comes in here the first year last year of playing in Double A, tough district, gets him to the playoffs, a close loss in overtime to St. Thomas Aquinas, and now he's on an 8-0 run this year. You can see the standings in District 2A. Sets up that huge.
That's the updated standings with this win today.
Right, that huge game next week with Riverside.
When you hire an assistant coach,
maybe?
Some guys just have it and they're going to be a good head coach. When did you know Joe Chango, or feel Joe Chango would become a good head coach, make a good head coach?
The day he walked into my office at Jesuit, I had known him when he was working for Frank Monica at St. Charles Catholic a few years back. He went back to coach in in New Jersey. And comes back. I'm looking for a running backs coach. He comes walking in my office, and I get a great opportunity to sit down and talk to him. I knew this guy was going places.
Wow. Carruth kept.
Tell you what, right there, a little bit of a late hit. I think that's what Joe Chang was screaming about, but instead he get the holding penalty called against him.
That's the first penalty on Country Day since the first quarter. They had a couple that hurt him in the first quarter. Think Chango talked to him about that?
I don't think so. I think it's just something he, wants them to make sure that they're playing good fundamental football. And
only 3 penalties for 25 yards for Country Day today.
Right, but it's what good fundamental football teams do. They don't have many penalties or many turnovers for that matter.
Christian Carruth, what a day he's had. There it is. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Country Day. Patagna. Price Patagna. Give that young man a game ball when this one. A lot of game balls are going to be awarded in this Country Day locker room after this one. And Price Patagna with a score to put 50 big ones on the board for the Cajuns.
Play action pass. Patagna runs right past everybody. Everybody steps up and bites on the run. Great throw by Miles LePere on the vertical route to Patagna for the touchdown. Then he kicks the PAT.
And boots it up with strength in that leg. 51-21, a 30-point lead by the Cajuns.
Look at this throw. Right on the money. Patagna behind everybody in right. Runs head first into the fence down there. Right into your camera right here. What a catch.
Boom.
All Country Day today.
Little extra push after. But they are excited on the Cajun sideline because their Country Day football team remains undefeated, and wow, what a showdown next week, huh?
Well, I
got to tell you, Riverside and Country Day, it's going to be a fun game. Try to get into Bertolino next week, as small as that stadium is.
They're going to have to bus people in because there's not enough parking there for sure. They're going to have to bus them in. Then Cooper Patagna. You know why I said Cooper? I coached a Cooper Patagna at Jesuit a few years back. This is his cousin. And you know what? Looks just like him. Walks just like him. Everything else. I asked Joe about that on Tuesday when I was over at practice. I said, is that a relation to Cooper Patagna that we coached at Jesuit? He says it's his cousin.
Wow.
Looks just like him. Built just like him. Plays just like him.
Well, don't you wish you could hit your pitching wedge like that, make it bite like that kick did, and still
it's getting better.
A return by Newman.
There you go.
So Calhoun on a good return by Newman, but they've run out of time. There's less than a minute to play. 54 seconds is all we have left. 54.7. So LePere gets to chunk a few more if he'd like to, but this one is safely tucked away in the win column. And as we said, Country Day, 8-0, 3-0 in District 9 2A. Newman will fall to 3-4, 0-3. And I think the Greenies just might want this one to come to an end. So James Poche on the carry, the junior. Newman player down on the field.
Hand the ball off in the draw play right there to Poche. They wrapped the guard around to get up on the linebacker. That was Ryan White, number 52, coming up from his right tackle position. Wrapping around, coming up to the second level linebacker, created a very nice run for Poche. They got a lineman down.
That's a lineman. I think it's Hackett Cummins, but I'm not sure.
You can't afford to lose linemen at this level. Good look at our production truck right there and the great crew that works inside there, Ken.
Oh, man, great crew inside of there, LaCie Productions. It's in the end zone today. They had to run a lot of cable out here so we could bring you these great shots. But no matter where we have to, and it is Hackett Cummins that's down on the field. Good look at the inside of the truck. Lenny Van Gilder in there, along with Andrew Alvarez, our producer and director. Adam Bryant's working audio.
Looks like a fighter jet inside there. Look at all these electronics.
I think we have Hackett Cummins walking off the field on his own. He's a junior lineman. The only junior, take that back, there's 2 juniors on the offensive line for the Greenies. That truck, brand new to us this year, gives us the availability to bring you some fantastic pictures every week of prep football. Well, nowhere to go for Poche, and that could be it. Newman can run one more if they want, but
that was number 53 on that tackle, William Nolte. For the Cajuns, making a fine play.
So I fight off that block.
Yeah, he fought off the block, made a nice tackle, and I think that's going to be our ball game.
Yeah. 51-21 is your final. A resounding 30-point win for Country Day to remain undefeated and make a statement going into this Riverside game next week. So we'll be back with our post-game show. Les East looking for the coaches down on the field. Back with that right after this. Country Day with a resounding win. Les East has Coach Joe Chango on the field. Let's take it away with the coach.
Thanks, Ken. I'm here with the winning coach, Joe Chango of Country Day. A thoroughly dominant performance, all 3 sides of the ball. Talk about the way your team handled this challenge today.
Well, last year we played this team. We kind of came out and laid an egg, and everybody makes a lot of this game around here as a rivalry. And we really try to approach every game the same and prepare the same, and our kids took a much better focus this week, and it showed on the field.
Now, this is a very challenging part of your schedule, finishing up district, the first of 3. Really good opponents. What does this performance do for you going forward?
Well, hopefully it's something for us to realize that this is what we're capable of doing. And that now it may not be good enough to beat those better teams like Riverside and St. Charles, but we're certainly capable of competing with them. And our guys, I think, are going to start believing that now a little bit, and we'll take the next one as it comes.
You pulled everything out of the trick bag, just about back-to-back onside kicks, a halfback pass. Is that your nature? Have you done that before, or was there something about this circumstance?
No, we're always kind of like that, and our kids like that we play like that and call games that way. And we had told them all week that if we score first twice, we're going to onside kick back-to-back, and they knew it was coming, and they really did a good job of handling it, and I couldn't be prouder of the way they played. Our coaches and our kids just did an awesome job today.
Thanks, Coach. Back upstairs.
Thank you. Thanks, Les. Some great comments by Coach Chango. And Wade, your final thoughts on this game?
Well, first of all, I love that jersey draw, don't you? What a well-prepared Country Day team. Joe Chango is an excellent football coach. He does an excellent job working with his kids. It was all Country Day today. He had to pull out some stops. If you're going to practice that stuff during the week, then you better call it during the game, because otherwise your kids won't practice it with the same intensity. And he calls it during the game, not afraid to do it. He's got his kids believing in themselves. Now he really walks into a team next week with Riverside Academy. They're feeling good about themselves. I tell you what a great ball game that's going to be.
Wade, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank Les East. Thank the entire crew. And we thank all of our fans for joining us on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Our prep football schedule wraps up in 2 weeks with a Catholic League matchup between Jesuit and Brother Martin from Zephyr Field. Catch it live November the 4th at 7 p.m. on Sports NOLA, or watch the rebroadcast Saturday, November the 5th at noon on WHNO. for Wade Kaiser, Les East, our man Tommy Cooper in the booth, and our entire WHNO crew who brings you such great shots every week, I'm Ken Berthelot. Once again, your final score, Country Day 51, Newman 21. Thanks for being with us, folks, and have a great afternoon and evening.